Faisal II was the last king of the Hashemite dynasty in Iraq. He became king at a very young age, and his reign was marked by political and military instability. In the military coup of 1958, Faisal II and his family were brutally killed. King Faisal II was born on May 2, 1935, in Baghdad, the capital of Iraq. He was the grandson of Faisal I, the founder of the Kingdom of Iraq and the Hashemite dynasty. The Hashemite family had historical ties to Arab kingdoms in the region. The death of his father, King Ghazi, in 1939 marked a turning point in King Faisal II's life. His father died in a car accident surrounded by controversy. As he was still very young, King Faisal II was not mature enough to rule on his own, marking the beginning of a regency. During the regency, King Faisal II received the necessary education and training to assume his leadership role. In anticipation of his eventual ascension to the throne, his education covered various aspects related to leadership and state affairs. Although officially becoming king at a relatively young age, King Faisal II did not hold real power in making government decisions at the beginning of his reign. The influence and decision-making authority still remained with the regents and senior figures who supported him. Iraq at that time experienced complex political instability, influenced by both internal dynamics and external forces that impacted the nation's policies. This included relations with neighboring countries and interactions with major powers like Britain. During the regency, preparations for a transition to King Faisal II's direct rule were underway. Despite not yet reaching adulthood, plans to gradually allow him to assume leadership roles were put into motion. At some point, King Faisal II reached an age considered mature enough to lead independently, and the role of the regents gradually diminished. However, before he could fully take control, the events of the 1958 coup occurred. Iraq during King Faisal II's reign was a relatively new nation after gaining independence from the Ottoman Empire and its status as a League of Nations mandate under British control. The presence of British influence significantly affected Iraq's domestic politics and policies. The presence of British military and their influence in Iraq's internal affairs garnered dissatisfaction among the populace. Many regarded the Iraqi government as a puppet of Britain and demanded greater political autonomy. In addition to external influence, internal political rivalries also contributed to instability. Various political factions and interest groups competed for power and influence within the government, often leading to policy changes and shifts in leadership. Iraq experienced social and economic turmoil intensified by political instability. Social and economic disparities, coupled with unequal distribution of resources, generated tensions that undermined the country's stability. As a recently independent state with a diverse population of various ethnic, religious, and cultural backgrounds, Iraq faced a crisis of national identity. Conflicts between ethnic and religious groups escalated, further complicating matters. Amid political instability, the military played an increasingly prominent role in the political landscape. As policy directions shifted and leadership changed, the military often played a pivotal role in larger political changes. Some factions within society were dissatisfied with the monarchy, viewing it as a symbol of the old dominion that needed to be altered. Critiques of the monarchy and demands for political reform further exacerbated the instability. The struggle for power within this environment of political instability led to various groups and individuals vying to secure their positions, exacerbating the situation. The political instability and social tensions left many feeling insecure. Uncertainty about the country's future and concerns about internal strife and conflicts further eroded stability. This backdrop created an environment of significant instability and uncertainty during King Faisal II's reign. The combination of internal and external factors, along with political competition and conflicting interests, created a complex dynamic with profound impacts on Iraq's political and military stability at that time. Culminating in the year 1958, the July 14th revolution overthrew the rule of King Faisal II, marking the end of the monarchy in the country. The July 14th revolution was led by Brigadier General Abdul Karim Qasim, a military officer in the Iraqi army. Qasim was a figure opposed to British influence and held strong Arab nationalist views. The coup aimed to overthrow the king's rule and establish a republic. Qasim and his group sought to end British political dominance and take control of the country's direction. On July 14, 1958, Qasim-led coup forces stormed the royal palace in Baghdad. At that time, King Faisal II and his family were in the palace. Faisal II ordered the royal guard not to resist and surrendered to the rebels. The coup forces successfully captured King Faisal II and his family. This capture occurred amid the chaos and turmoil of the coup. After their capture, King Faisal II and his family faced a tragic fate. Captain Abdul Sattar Sabah al-Ibusi led a group of revolutionary attackers at the Rahab Palace, which remained the main royal residence in central Baghdad. There, they were instructed to turn and face the palace wall, and they were promptly executed by their captors. They were brutally executed by the coup forces. There are several versions of the execution of King Faisal II's family, with accounts suggesting that they were bound in a jeep and then the vehicle was driven, causing the entire family to lose their lives. The execution of King Faisal II and his family marked the end of the Hashemite dynasty's rule in Iraq. This brutal act symbolically concluded the era of monarchy that had lasted for several decades, reshaping Iraq's history into a republic. After successfully overthrowing the royal government, Qasim and his forces established a new Republic of Iraq. Qasim became the de facto leader and played a key role in steering the country in a new direction. The 1958 coup and the formation of the Republic of Iraq ended the dominance of the Hashemite dynasty and initiated a new era of republicanism in the country. This change brought about significant shifts in politics, leadership, and Iraq's relations with foreign nations.